They just made me a brand ambassador for celebrity boxing, and they got a TV channel, Hot Music 365. I could put whatever I want on TV. So if y'all want to syndicate with us, I'll put y'all on there for free.
What?
Y'all ain't even got to pay nothing. Yeah, we get you on there.
Say less.
Yeah, and you can tell people, yo, you can watch us on TV. Get the Roku, download the app, and they can watch you on television.
Well, I get the T-shirt. What?
Yeah.
You don't understand, though.
Yeah,
really from the dirt.
All you gotta do is send me all the episodes, and we start uploading them shits. But we'll talk about that. Yeah. It's
episode 20.
in.
It's episode 20.
Number 20.
All right. Oh,
Yeah, it's locked.
So you came in on a very special episode, dog. And this is my first time interviewing somebody that's not from New Orleans.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So, we rolling? All right. Yo, this is Benjamin, and we live at Music Box Studio. This is Benjimanzroom podcast, live at Music Box Studio. KP, engineer, you hear me? We live with a very, very, very special guest. You hear me? I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
What up, America? It's your boy Hollywood Pompeii, a.k.a. Pizzle for Shizzle, my nizzle, and you already know how I sizzle when I drizzle. You dig? We in the building with Benjimanzroom.
I'm happy you said your name, dog, because I always said it as Hollywood Pompeii, but I was like, I wonder if this shit like pronounced different, because motherfuckers be calling me Benjimanzroom. And my shit obviously say
Right.
Benjimanzroom, you dig? But the Z just be fucking niggas
My man-
lifestyle of like.
Nah, this is one dude. It's my man, Deanie. He from the Ninth Ward. Shout out, Deanie. I've known Deanie for 4 years. He still can't say my name right. He calls me Hollywood Poppy.
Dog,
That's
let me
my
say,
brother, though.
One thing about New Orleans niggas, they gonna call you what the fuck they
What
want to call you.
Yeah, I've been Hollywood Poppy for the last 4 years. I'm Hollywood Poppy. Yeah, that's it.
Dog.
Then I got a cousin. He can't say my name either. He calls me Pleasley. Like, bro, you my cousin. You my real life cousin. Pleasley. Like, I can't even say how he says it. Like, he just, it's wrong. It ain't right.
All right, you. All right. How you end up like fucking with New Orleans? Like, you not from here, right?
No, I'm not from here.
How you end up here?
Voodoo.
I believe that.
No, it was the voodoo.
You only gonna be here because of that.
It was the voodoo, man. Listen,
How it
it was the voodoo in a bunch of different ways. So prior to me moving here, I was a musician eons ago when I was very, very young, and it was cool to say you were a rapper. Right. I used to be a rapper.
Right. Me too.
Yeah.
I used to be a rapper.
I used to be a rapper.
Right.
That's where it all starts, right?
Right.
So I had gotten a check from Universal. I got paid. I got paid as a rapper, but I never blew at all. Never blew. I was too caught up in the streets. I didn't take it serious. They weren't paying the bill. I didn't get no real money. I made money enough to get up, you know what I mean, just to sit down for a little bit, but that money starts to run out. So long story short, my first mixtape on Universal was called Voodoo. That was the name of my mixtape. And I did Voodoo 1, Voodoo 2, Voodoo 3. I had 3 mixtapes under Universal. They were all called Voodoo. And my first hit single with Universal, or the single that got me paid, was called Witch Doctor. And so I was just obsessed with like the ancestors, with voodoo. And so when you get into that kind of stuff, it always brings you back here to New Orleans. So I started studying a lot about New Orleans, and I kind of manifested it. I was like, yo, I want to live in New Orleans. Like, it was just so lit, everything that I was learning. And one day I'm on tour with Boosie, a little time after. This is, fast forward years after. I'm on tour with Lil Boosie, and 2 weeks before we hit Bourbon Street, I'm praying in Atlanta, and I'm praying for a spouse, you know what I mean? I'm praying to meet somebody. I'm tired of being on the road, not having the right person, to help build. And exactly what I prayed for, how I prayed for it, I found it on Bourbon Street. You know what I mean? So I wasn't talking to no females while I was focused. Some chick walks up to us, says, yo, my homegirl want to holler at your man. It's a dude that we had just got signed to Lil Boosie, and we had him on tour. He was on tour with Kevin Gates, Young Blue, Lil Baby. It was a wild tour. One of the cities was here. So the woman who asked that is now my wife. She says, yo, can my friend talk to your friend? I'm like, yeah. I said, yo, do you mind if I get your phone number? And she said, yeah, y'all want to go out and drink tonight? I was like, no, I don't drink. I'm religious. I'm Muslim. I don't drink. And she said, oh, I'm Muslim too. I said, shit, I couldn't tell. Right. You asking me to drink.
Right.
And then we got into a whole conversation about God that night. And took her back to the hotel room. You know, it was real heavenly, and we've been together ever since. I can
Right.
talk crazy because that's my wife. Now, I
Right.
smashed that
Right.
night. But she ain't want to be a one night stand. This is a true story. This is a true story. I was just
Two
telling.
Muslims, no jinn. You
Yeah.
heard?
So, yeah. Yeah. So she said she ain't want to be a one night stand. It's a true story. She thought I was just going to hit her homegirl like, oh, them kind of dudes, you know. So I invite her to come to Baton Rouge with us the next day, but I fall asleep and I'm not hearing my phone. So they drove all the way out to Baton Rouge and she's thinking she got played. She's like a one night stand. So they walking around the hotel room that I told them to meet at, and I happened to get up and see them there. And then every 2 weeks after that, she came and flew out to whatever city I was in for 6 months straight.
Wow.
6 months straight, she came to see me 2 times a month. Flew to whatever city I was
So
in.
love brought you to New Orleans.
Yeah, and voodoo.
Right.
Yeah.
And voodoo.
She put a spell on me, bro.
No, but
Had to.
I really feel like it's a real pilgrimage between New York and the South. Like,
Absolutely.
And I hate to be on some Pimp C shit and be like Atlanta not the South, but Atlanta is South.
But it's not
the
South.
South.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's South. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of New York people, they pilgrimage to Atlanta.
Because this is Mecca.
Right. But then when you go deep and you go in pilgrimage to New Orleans, you hear Biggie talk about, you're like getting low, moving down south.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that like a thing in New York?
Nah, you know what I think it is I was explaining to somebody earlier, I feel like it's a lack of culture. So we got a lot, people get New York twisted. It's hip hop culture, but there is no ethnic culture.
I'm about to get you in trouble.
No. I love it. Let's do it. So we got hip hop culture in New York, but outside of hip hop culture, pizza and gangster movies, there ain't no fucking culture in New York. And I'm from New York, and I'm gonna say it. There's no culture in New York except for my neighborhood, Coney Island. That's the only place where they got real culture, and I mean that. We got the Mermaid Parade, they got the beach there, they got artists, all kinds of stuff. We got culture, but New York ain't got no culture. So I feel like once you become a little bit more woke, and once you start wanting certain things, knowledge of self, you naturally just have to take that pilgrimage down south, because if we know one thing about history, when slavery started, the slaves ran from the south to go up north to get free.
Right.
You gotta come back to where you came from to
Right.
to really know where you going.
That real pilgrimage.
Yeah, so this is
Right.
Hajj for me. This is me making a pilgrimage to where I know the closest place in the United States that I could get to my ancestors is gonna be Louisiana.
Right.
Period.
Right. How much you been from New York, right? I've always watched this argument. I've been watching this argument going for like maybe the last month. When Fat Joe came out and was talking about the Latino influence
Right.
into hip hop culture, right? How do you feel about that? Like, you've been a New
Man.
Yorker, been in New Orleans, which I feel like really we don't get enough credit for the musical roots of hip hop,
Right.
based off of even over there where the only place you can play music.
Musical roots and music in America, period. This is where it comes from.
Right.
Any kind of music.
Right.
Period. We're working on a documentary called Below Sea Level, because New Orleans is below sea level, and it's about how Louisiana really is the seed and the foundation to music culture in America. Period. And I'm ready to argue with anybody on that.
But yeah, think about it. What was the name of the spot? You should know. You're a musician. No, where the only spot where you could play music was in New Orleans, man. What they, no, they called it something though. Congo Square.
Yeah,
Congo
yeah.
Square. Congo Square.
Yeah.
Which Congo Square is a freedom
Right.
spot where you can practice music as you please. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So that opened up a lot for musicians to be able to practice music just in general. So
And that wasn't something that was just adapted. That's been here.
Right. And it was nowhere else. It was like nowhere else in the whole country a slave could openly just play music. And so the slaves that live here can play music, can develop all types of music.
Absolutely.
Right here. And that's why I wanted to ask you about the Latino influence. Like, what is the Latino influence?
I believe that Latino influence needs to start being included into the slave influence as well. I feel like we leave the Latinos out of the slave culture and out of the slave conversations. and it's because they speak Spanish. Or but when you go to Puerto Rico, there's Puerto Ricans that look just like you, that look just like me. When Puerto Ricans aren't just brown and red. When you go to Dominican Republic, there's Dominicans that are as dark as this, and there's Dominicans that are as white as this. You know what I mean?
You really about to open up this conversation because I'm gonna tell you, I'm a person who.
No, wait. I just want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Stop saying we not niggas. We niggas.
Right.
Stop getting mad when we say nigga. We niggas.
Right.
My people got hit in the fucking back with a whip, just like everybody else's. They ran through my islands and raped all of my fucking ancestors, just like y'all's.
Right.
The only thing that sucks about it with us is we don't got a people to congregate with and cry about reparations.
Right.
We don't have that. We don't have a Black Lives Matter movement. Crackers hate us.
Right.
And African Americans say that we not part of the culture. That shit blows my mind.
Right.
That shit blows my fucking mind.
And
we 100% nigga.
Right. But all right. And that goes back to the conversation of what is a nigga. Because, all right.
A nigga is somebody who ancestors got beat and got caught up in this whole slave trade. It don't matter what color your skin is. If your people was fucked during that process, you nigga. Period. Because the term nigga, what it really stood for was ignorant. The word nigga was meant as a term of ignorance. And they called anybody that was a slave a nigga because we were ignorant to their way of life.
Right. Right.
We all niggas.
Well, all right. So, all right. I can't say this. I could say this. That's a new age concept.
Right.
Because I don't
speak
think,
Spanish.
But me personally, right? And this is where a lot of conflict come in at, all right?
Right.
And I don't even think it's racial. It's more of a cultural conflict.
Absolutely.
Right? The cultural conflict.
Culture fucks up a lot of things.
But see, the cultural conflict comes in when you're in the 1940s, right?
Right.
And you remember a time when you was walking with your light-skinned friend.
Right.
Right? You remember when a time when he was able to pass for white and you got your ass whooped.
Right.
You hear me? Like, you remember those days.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that put a separation between blacks and
listen,
browns and you know what I'm saying?
So let's have the uncomfortable conversation.
Because at first it was
that's
situation.
100% true.
Right.
But there's people that are my color that will sell me the fuck out. There's people that are your color that will sell you the fuck out. And during the slave trade, it was known that, especially to get through the Middle East, the Arabs, right? The Arabs they played a big part in the slave trade as well, because they were able to communicate with a lot of the Africans because they spoke some of their languages, because Egypt is in North Africa, the Middle East is closer to North Africa, so there's a lot of connections over there.
Right.
Bro, it's documented. The tribes were selling each other out.
Right.
So, all right, cool. You could be mad at your light-skinned friend because he ain't want to get beat up. But, yo, y'all niggas been selling each other out. We all been selling each other out. So stop it. I ain't want to get punched in the face today. I took the light-skinned friend. Yeah, I ain't want to get punched in the face. So I played the light-skinned card. I ain't want to get punched in the face. That don't mean that I'm not a nigga. That just means that I had a lighter shade to defend me from an ass whooping today. That's what it meant. And if I'm bout it, you gonna punch me in the face 100 times, I'm gonna punch you in the face 100 times. If you not bout it, play that light skin card and get your ass home and go sit down.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you this.
That's the difference between a house nigga and a field nigga, though.
But look, I'm gonna tell you this. In New Orleans, the culture is way different.
Right.
All right. And in a way that the 7th Ward, by just alone, was known as Passe Blanc, right?
What does that mean?
Passe Blanc meaning they were mixed. They were mostly like, you could be a 7th Ward dude with no hesitation, because the Saint Bernard Project was a white project, right?
Right.
And you had a lot of blacks that frequent that area, and they intermingle a lot.
Right.
And it was just known that all the light skins was there to a point where they used to have brown paper bag parties, right? And so in the Seventh Ward or different places where light skin was more prominent, you would have brown paper bag parties where you couldn't even get in a party if your skin was darker than a paper bag.
Right.
So that alone
It makes people hold
put a
resentment.
separation.
Yeah,
Because I
absolutely.
remember, like, if my mama remembers a brown paper bag party,
Right.
you better not bring no light skinned motherfucker in my house.
Right,
Like
right.
that might be a conversation in our house.
Right,
You
right.
did, but growing up in New Orleans East, it was different
Right.
because everybody was multicultural. It was mostly like, bitch, you got a house, we own
No,
a
I
house.
feel it.
You know what I'm
feel
saying?
you.
So you have all types of colors of people, light skins.
Right.
You got in the back, you got the Vietnamese. So you,
I guess the reason why I'm so passionate about it too is because this is the one thing. And when it comes to racial shit, and this is a true story, and I could get my little brother on a speakerphone right now. When I was in elementary school, I did significantly well in school for a kid that came from the inner city. So they wanted to put me in a gifted school. I begged my parents, please don't put me in a school with all these white kids. It was Italian people, to be specific. It was IS 201, Dyker Heights. You could look it up. The whitest neighborhood in fucking Brooklyn, New York. It's where the mafia is from in New
Right.
York, Bensonhurst. The real mafia. I'm talking about the real life mafia. Look at the color of my skin. Why you gonna send me to a fucking school where they can't stand us? They can't stand people like us.
Right.
See, so we not having the problems that y'all are having down here.
Right.
With the light, we only see one color, and that's not white. You either white or not white where I come from.
But that's-
because you're getting treated the same. If you don't come from a white economic class, so it's deeper. You got to come from a white economic class in order to really be considered a superior out there. But long story short, they put dogs on me. They beat me in the head. I was 12 years old. I got beat by grown men, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. Steel pipes because the color of my skin. You feel what I'm saying?
but you know this.
So that's why I don't be wanting. That's why I go really hard behind that, because I got my ass whooped. There's a lot of people that say this and say that and civil rights this is. When did you get your ass beat behind this shit? Fuck you.
But I'ma
Eat my
tell you-
dick.
I'm gonna tell you the difference.
And I mean it.
I'm gonna tell you the real difference.
Because I almost died behind this shit.
I'm gonna tell you the real difference. It's still the same as if I was a slave on a plantation in the South and you was a slave that got free. All right?
Right.
Because once you was a slave that got free and was in the North, right, you already understood that, all right, I gotta link up with any minority. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like the Mexicans, the fucking Chinese.
Right,
I gotta
right.
really link. We gotta link up.
Right,
because we know what it is down there. So we
Right.
gotta link up. So we become a minority.
Right.
Instead of in the South, we still black because people like you was still getting passes when we wasn't.
That's why there's so many Puerto Rican and Irish mix in New York, because Italians didn't like the Irish. They ain't like the Puerto Ricans either.
Right.
But the Puerto Ricans and the Irish realized, hey, we fucking outnumbered. Just like what you're saying. Hey,
Right.
we outnumbered. You know what I mean? Like, and they got together because there's power in numbers or whatever the case is.
Say, I heard you say about the mafia.
Yeah.
Right. New Orleans is the birthplace of the mafia.
Right.
You knew that? So all right. So the New Orleans and New York connection
Right.
is so prominent in not just hip hop society and what we call gangster
Right.
and what we call a nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the Italian mafia was created in New Orleans.
Right.
And the Italians were the original niggas of the white world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's all tying in. And
The
it's-
Sicilians, they were conquered by the Moors.
and y'all get a lot more of that knowledge than we get at an early age in New York. Can you speak on just being from New York and the influence of gangster rap?
So, you right about one thing. They definitely, you get schooled a lot in New York. So you have to be a master at something. You got to know. You have to like have a PhD in something. It's either the streets, it's either the books, it's either in philosophy. So me, I'm 5'7". I was in a doctor in sports. You know what I mean? I'm a little dude. So I ended up getting into the streets. You know what I mean? I learned a lot about the streets. And when you in the streets, you learn that there's different avenues in the streets as well. And one of the big things in New York back in the 90s, and I feel like they need to get back on it, is the gangster shit was always big, but there was always a study of knowledge of self and supreme science and mathematics. You feel what I'm saying? No matter what your religion was, you were open to the supreme science and mathematics. If you were from the streets of New York and you mingled with a certain type of folks or a certain type of people, there was always that constant awareness and knowledge of self and the supreme science and mathematics. And people always building on that. You know, you watch them old movies of the old Peace God, you know what I mean? What's today's science? And you know, there's always a constant, well, there was always a constant building. And I think that the government did a real good job at putting a lot of those people who implemented them structures in jail for a really long time, which is why you see all them savages in New York right now with all that New York drill shit. That's really what they call themselves, New York savages. I'm not giving them a name. That's what they call.
All that started in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like the whole drill movement.
Right.
I feel like we don't get it. Like BG started the drill movement.
Right.
Like, and New York kind of disappointed me because they let the computers control their market, and they just not getting to a point where they stopping the computers. Like P Diddy and a lot of other artists starting to speak out against the computers because New York really lost their sound.
Oh, they lost their sound,
and we did too. Like
yeah.
it's like every major city lost their sound to computers, trying to appeal to the computers instead of trying to appeal to the people.
And you know what's crazy? All them computers sound like Atlanta.
They do. No. Look. All the computers sound like it, and I really, you have to go back to New Orleans. You have to go back to why would you give Master P or Baby that much money, more money than anybody you ever gave? Why would you give them that much money coming from New Orleans, right? And they don't even have a record company base. You can't never Google and say what No Limit Records or Cash Money Records was at. They never had a actual
a headquarters.
They never had a building.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you give them all that money? Right? And you did it because you was really using this market as a laboratory. You know what I'm saying? Like you're using this market as a laboratory to appeal to the bigger markets. If it appeal here, appeal to the bigger markets.
Some of the biggest names in the game, some of the most historical shit in the game has come out of Louisiana, and I feel like that gets overlooked. The NBA YoungBoys, the Kevin Gates, the Lil Waynes, the Master P's, the No Limits, like those are big fucking names.
You got to think about it when you talk about people like Dr. Sabi, right? Dr. Sabi, he really like he made a lot of noise in New York, right? And he talk about the seeds, and they say like what's like a lemon come from a lime, like this fruit come from that, and you get the strongest shit from the root of the shit, like. Absolutely. And when you can't get no clothes, everybody left the South to go north. You know what I'm saying? So once you come back south, you're going to always get those types of artists that don't have nothing that can just take over the whole world, like the Lil Waynes and the Young Boys, and even like artists like Partners in Crime who been local for a long time, but
they at the root though,
making so much good music to the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like putting down the bricks for the culture, saying what the culture is and what it should be and what a party should sound like. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do artists like that affect you way in New York? Like, or did you learn about them artists when you came here and found love?
I learned about all of that when I came down here. When I came down here is when I really got opened up and exposed.
What year was that?
That was 2018, 19, right around there. Yeah.
Right. And your relationship with Rob 49, how did that articulate?
So, man, it's funny how that happened. One day I'm getting ready to shoot a video for this dude named Illy. Shout out to Illy. Illy says, "Yo, they about to shoot this video for Rob 49 and Lil Baby in the Iberville. Let's go shoot a video." So I'm like, bro, I don't know if I want to shoot a video while other people are shooting a video. Is it gonna be a lot of people out there? So he said, "All right, bet. Well, we'll link up later then." But I said, I'm still going to go to the video shoot. Thanks for putting me on. You know what I mean? Let me know that there's going to be a video shoot. Mind you, I was not on a payroll. Me and Rob 49 did not know each other.
I seen you there.
Yeah.
I seen you there, and I knew you was the dude with the
bun.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's why I hide the bun, because everybody knows that bun.
I was like, man, I don't know. I really like this dude. Like, this dude like, kind of like a fucking jerk. Like, I don't know. Like, he gave me jerk vibes, but he was cool and shit. Real light skinned with the little fucking pompadour. Like, I don't really like this dude, but I ain't no hater. You
Right.
heard? But I don't really know about this dude.
Nah, I get that vibe a lot.
I gotta feel him out. You did. I really gotta because he moving. Like New York niggas do too much.
Yeah,
First
yeah.
of all,
That's
and New Orleans, we can sense out of motherfucker. Like you become a target when you do too much,
Right.
right, dude? Like you know, like. We know, oh, that's fool. We
Right,
about
right.
to eat on his clown ass.
Right, right.
But New York niggas just a little bit different where
Yeah.
they could keep the energy
No,
going. You did where you just like, well, it's not funny no more. You're like, I can't even joke off you no more because like you really serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you gonna get serious fast. So
Right.
I can't even really joke off you. Like you my partner who with the bad temper at this point. You did I fuck with dude
Right.
at this point. Until we learn to love you, we gonna
Right.
joke off you.
Right, right.
But we ain't gonna really let you win.
No, I done,
like
been,
that.
I done
Like-
been through that down here. I done been through that. I had to learn. I definitely learned. But so getting back to how I met Rob, so my cousin, he a big time Crip. Like he's a world renowned Crip. Like he's a super famous Crip. Not for being gangster like Snoop Dogg type.
Right,
Like,
right.
like a commercial Crip. Like he's known in the whole world for cripping, right?
Right.
So my cousin's like, yo, if Lil Baby's gonna be there, I'm pulling up. And I'm like, all right, because you know Lil Baby's a Crip too, and Lil Baby knows my cousin. They have a relationship, shit like
Alright.
that. So
Bet.
I'm like, oh shit, I might have a little in through the Crips, and I might be able to get close to Lil Baby. In my head, I'm like, shit, I might get close to Lil Baby and see what happens. Not knowing I was gonna be the one to shoot his scenes and be a part of shooting the video and shit. So my cousin says, yo, bring the camera to the Iberville. I'm like, yo, cuz they shooting a video. I'm not trying to. This is my real life cousin.
Right.
I'm like, yo, cuz, what I look like bringing my camera to their video?
Shoot a video at a video.
Yeah. So he's like, yo, nah, cuz, do it for me. I need footage when I run up on Lil Baby and that's the loc. I'm telling you, it's gonna be love. In my head, and I done seen him do this. I don't know why I underestimated him, cause I done seen his Crip powers. I done seen them.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I bring the camera. He tells me, yo, go holler at them people over there. So now he's bullying me a little bit, right? So he's like, yo,
Right.
go holler at them people over there. Let them know who you are, bro. Like, I'm not from New York. I mean, he said I'm not from New Orleans, but I know I seen you the last 4 years. You moving around. Niggas fuck with you out here. Like, them niggas is from New Jersey. You like a New Orleans nigga. Let them know who you are. You out here. They in your hood right now. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna go talk to. I took his advice. So one of the dudes was mad cool. His name was Rich, right? Get Rich or direct. I forget his Instagram, but his name is Rich though.
Right.
Cool dude. I worked on a couple projects with Rich. So I'm showing my Instagram to Rich, and Rich is like, oh yeah, I've heard of you. I don't know, dude, but I've heard of dude. So he shows my Instagram to Gerard Victor. My Instagram is pretty impressive.
Right.
I've been working, you know what I
Right.
mean? So like there's a lot of people that just talk with like my shit really. I don't got just one picture with somebody. I got like 10 pictures different days. I'm in the dude house, he in my house, like I'm at the hotel with them, I'm at the ball court, I'm with their kids. Like, damn, how you get around the fence? So people looking at Gerard's looking at my camera, at my Instagram, and he says, yo, he's the only one allowed with a camera on set. And that's it. He said, yo, you could do whatever you want, bro. Like, you got full range to do whatever you want. He said, try to get as much B-roll as you can, but if you see an opportunity to get a shot, there's going to be thousands of people we could use the help. So, being at the right place at the right time in the right
How that
uniform,
felt?
man, it felt good. I felt like that was my moment. I felt like it was my moment. So,
I was there during the birth of your birth.
yeah, you were. I mean, I had big moments before that, but not for the South.
Right.
That was my moment for the South to be
Right.
like, all right, cool. I'm a factor down here because I got shit up north with like Casanova,
But the
Fetty Wap.
fucking
all
the
that.
pump home.
Yeah,
like
the bun.
that really branded you.
That
like,
that's my thing. So
like-
I do that for branding purposes.
yeah, it branded you. Come like, all right, that's dude. You did.
Yeah.
I think you ever been in the second line or some shit. I seen you some. It might have
Couple
been a
sec-
club. Might
Nah,
have-
anybody with that is me.
I-
It's me.
You ever
every
did a
time.
second line?
Nah, I've been to a couple second lines.
All right,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
I thought I seen you at a second
Yeah.
line because I don't. By the time I seen you at the little baby shit,
Yeah.
I really, in my mind, I thought you was already on.
Right.
Like I thought you was already on. You did
Because I was just moving like yeah.
right,
So
right.
and that's what it is. So when I got there, I played my part. For the first time, I didn't act like a New Yorker. I ain't do too much. I just did enough. You know what I mean? Like I did what I had to do. So and I wasn't a hoe with the footage. I gave them all the footage. I ain't try to keep nothing. I met with them that night, 3 a.m, went to their hotel room, said, yo, look, here's all the footage that I got. You know, I just wanted to make sure that y'all got this footage and everything. So the director got my information, and he done worked on big videos with like Yo Gotti, Fab, everybody. He done work with everybody in the game. Now every time he comes to New Orleans to shoot a video, he calls me. So they did the Kevin Gates and Rob 49 video. They ended up calling me for that. So because there was some familiarity between me and Rob, Rob's label assumed that I knew Rob as well, right? So they ended up inviting me to the Vulture Fest. No, they invited me to the celebrity basketball game. That's what it was.
Right.
They invited me to the celebrity basketball game. This is his label. They thinking that me and Rob are friends. Me and Rob are not friends. Like, I didn't grow up with Rob. I don't know Rob. I know Rob on a personal, on a business level.
Right.
For every shoot that I've been at with him, that's as many times as I've spoken to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't grow up with him. I don't know him. I'm not one of them fraudulent dudes. Like, yeah, it's my man. No, I've just been very fortunate enough to be in situations where
Right.
things look like what they're not, and I know how to play my part, leverage that, and now it blossoms and turns into something that it needs to be.
Fact.
You know what I mean? So when they seen me at the celebrity basketball, I had showed them the Vulture Island documentary that I did. They say, yo, how did you get all this footage? Because I had purchased footage from other cameramen. Like, I went hunting down whoever had a camera, but really I was being conceited. I wanted footage of me.
Right.
So I said, whoever filmed me that day, I got a bag for you. Let me get that footage. I got some money for you. And it ended up being some really dope footage that I was buying. I ended up being caught in some really dope shots.
Right.
So when I put that whole documentary together, it was like 7 different camera angles.
That's some smart shit.
Yeah, so the shit was fire. It was like an hour and 30 minutes long. His label watched it, and they said they watched it at the basketball game. They skimmed through the whole shit, watched it. They said, yo, anytime Rob got an event, you have a press pass. Rob's label right now is trying to buy the footage.
Keep going.
Hmm?
His mic good? All right.
Yeah.
All right. This nigga-
So Rob's label right now I got you. So right as of right now, Rob's label, they made me an offer. I can show you the email. They made me an offer on the footage. I probably got one of the biggest Rob 49 collections, like footage wise.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like outside of whoever's in his immediate circle and sees him every day, of
Right.
course. But I got at least like a good, I want to say 20 hours on Rob.
Who is that kid? Like,
Who? Rob 49?
yeah, like, but
He the hottest thing out of the city.
since you started building this relationship,
Right.
right? I have a relationship with a producer,
Right.
right? That's real close with Rob, right? And I was telling him about how hot this kid was. He said, "You ain't hear nothing yet."
Right.
Like, if you putting this dude in your top 5 for that,
Right.
like,
No,
this
he got-
kid got some. You dig? Like, this kid got some heat
Yeah.
that you really gonna about to go crazy over.
You could tell he playing with everybody right now.
He is. He toying with him. He really is toying with him. And I don't know him.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of kids that's around him.
Right,
Right.
right.
And I'm like, he toying with him. You
He
dig?
is.
Like
He gonna be one of the greats. He gonna be one of the greats.
But who? All right. Can you speak on your relationship? Like, how did so at first you didn't know him, right?
Right.
So now,
It's just a cordial relationship. So every time I see him at a shoot, you know what I mean. It's not like I could call him and be like, "Yo, Rob, pull up," or whatever the case is. But when he sees me in a building, he acknowledges me. He knows me by name. He knows me by the little bun. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Right.
he sees me. He shows me love. His mama knows who I am. So I got a good relationship with not everybody at his camp. I think I pissed somebody off at his record label. I'm not gonna say who, but I pissed somebody off at the last shoot.
what you did?
I was being a New York nigga. I was
Yeah,
doing too much. And I pissed off Barreline. Yeah, I pissed Barreline off.
What you did?
So
Alright.
every time they tell me to come to the video, they tell me, yo, do what you do. And I'm
Right.
like, all right, cool, that's been working. I'm gonna do what I do.
Right.
So what I do is I get on my live, I talk my shit. Yo, I'm here with Rob 49, I'm here with Kevin Gates, I'm here with this, I'm here with that one. And I put that footage out.
Right.
I didn't know that this song was unreleased. Y'all told me to do what I do. Hold up. Y'all told me to do what I do. You said do what I do. You did not tell me, yo, no footage goes out. You can't. You told me to come and be Hollywood Pompeii. The last 3 times I was Hollywood Pompeii, it was fine and dandy. This time I came and did exactly what y'all asked me to do. But it wasn't nothing crazy. I put out a reel with Rob behind the scenes with him and Libra Jolie, and it was probably about 20 seconds long, but the song wasn't out.
Right.
So I leaked the song. And it was like on the biggest blogs because I got relationships. So the moment I post something, the blogs are picking it up. So all these major blogs picked it up. And now the director and people at the record label are hitting me up. Yo, you got to take this. I didn't know what the hell was going on. So as soon as, I guess they tried to get it taken down, the blogs weren't responding to them. As soon as I saw the message, though, it was down in 5 minutes from everywhere on the internet. Yeah, it was down in 5 minutes.
Computers kicked in.
Bow, yeah, hit that button, boom, yeah.
So Hollywood Pompeii versus the computers.
Yeah, I will fuck a nigga whole life up on that computer.
So all right. So when did that happen?
That was for the Libra Jolie and Rob 49 video. So that was what, about a month and a half ago?
So what business been like since?
Oh, it's been great.
Oh,
yeah.
Like you and Robin.
Yeah. I mean, that was with the one person at the label.
Right.
My relationship with the directors, with the whole team, everything else. Yeah, everything. I just upset that one person, and I'm probably gonna have to sit out for the next 4 or 5 videos. But y'all gonna see me back. I'm gonna be back in the mix, doing a whole lot of New York shit.
I like this kid. All right. So you get introduced to the New Orleans market.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your first thought of it?
I loved it. So the first artist that I really worked with, the first 2 artists I locked in with was Lil Doogie, BG's son, and Max P. Those were the 2 artists that I worked with at first. Lil Doogie didn't really have anything going on at the time. He was fresh out of high school, had a couple records with his brother T.Y. and with a couple other artists. But I was fortunate enough to catch him fresh. The first time he ever left and flew on a plane, I took him on a plane. I went and met BG's baby mom, Lil Doogie's mom. Doogie introduced me to his mom. He said, yo, like I told Doogie, I said, yo, you should come to Philly with me. I want to introduce you to Gilly, and maybe I could get you to do a song with Gilly's son, because you know Gilly used to be Cash Money, and your daddy was Cash Money. So I think it'd be dope if we take Gilly's son and BG's son, put them in the studio, and do a record.
Right.
He's like, man, that shit sound good. You know, for whatever reason, people from the South are very like, all right, whatever. Like, you got to prove shit to,
right.
You know what I mean? You really got to prove it.
Right.
So I'm like, I walk it. I talk it, but I can walk it. So I'm like, come on, introduce me to your mama. So I meet his mom. First thing his mom says is, boy, you know whose son this is, right? Because this is BG's real blood son.
Right.
The one you see in all the pictures, and this is real blood son. She said, boy, you know whose son this is, right? I said, yes, ma'am. I will have him back in one piece. He gonna get a little bag with me. I just want to take him up to Philly to meet some people. I'm not promising nothing, but let me bring him around some people. Took that boy up there. He made a little bit of money, features, you know, stuff like that. And then, came back down in one piece. And then when Max P saw what I was doing with Lil Doogie, let me tell you how the universe works. I moved right next door to Max P. That was my crib. Like, when I first moved down here, Max P lived right. So what's the irony that I'm all in this music business and my neighbor happened to be, you know, one of the dudes. So Max didn't really have anything going on. He had been laying low from the music. So when I moved in next to him, I moved in at the right time. So when everybody saw Max P with that big comeback like 3-4 years ago when he was dropping all them videos and everything, I was behind all that. Right. That was all me.
Right.
Like, if y'all watch to the end of the video, you'll see Powered by Hollywood Pompeii, Shot by Woo, all of that, all them trips to Miami, all that. You know what I mean? I was behind all of that shit. So and we had a nice little run. Max could definitely rap.
How you feel about the market itself? Like, you coming from New York, right? And y'all got Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
like it's the market of the country. now you come into New Orleans, and I really feel like this market is dead. Like I look at the market as being dead. Rifle 9 was the first like breath to the
Right.
market, and but before that, I feel like the market was really dead. How you feel about the market itself? Like how you feel
Nah,
about that?
I feel like they want people to think it's dead, so that way they can continue to cash out. I don't want nobody to know that I keep winning on these lotto tickets at this store. So I'm gonna be like, man, nah, that shit ass, bro. They ain't got nothing there. Stay the fuck away from my store. You crazy? I'm winning.
Right,
Stay away. You, the industry knows that the gems come from here, so they gonna make you think it's a dead market. And right under your nose, you got Kevin Gates. You got Young Boy. You got, and the list goes on. The list goes on. You feel what I'm saying? Like, those are just some of the names. And I say that to say this: these crackers been doing that to us for years. First time I ever left the country, it took me so long to leave the country because I was scared. They used to tell me, yo, I used to make a lot of money in the street when I was young. And when you make a lot of money in the street, they try to keep street dudes with a lot of money in the streets. So they would tell me, yo, don't go to the islands. I used to always, when I was young and I had money, I wanted to go to like Jamaica, Belize, stuff like that, and play with some of that money over there. And they used to be like, yo, there ain't nothing over there but AIDS and dudes that'll rob you, kill you, chop you up into little pieces, and you're never gonna come home to see your family. I told you I'm 5'7".
right,
I stood away from them islands.
right, right,
They not for me.
right.
I got my passport 4 years ago when I met my wife. She took me to Belize. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go. I went to Belize with all my jewelry. I'm talking about big old diamonds. We had like $10,000 cash. Like cash. I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? We out. We outside. Man, it was lovely. It was sweet. They want people. That country is they. We were talking about slave stuff earlier. They fiending for a slave master. Them little islands and countries and shit. They indoctrinated to want somebody from over here, from the states, to come over there and tell them what to do.
What?
They indoctrinated. It's bad. There's so many it sucks, but there's a lot of opportunity because of that. There's a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money, but them people won't own their own shit. I went and got a tattoo out there, paid $250 for a little bullshit tattoo. Dude told me that the man that owns the shop pays $750 rent. So me and my wife just gave you $500 in one sitting. You make money. Why are you paying this? Why are you giving all the money to this cracker that's
Right.
only in your shop 4 times a year, telling you what to do?
Right,
He lives in Ohio. You from Belize.
right.
What are you doing? You know what his response to me and my wife was? It's just easier that way. It's just easier.
But yeah, when I think about places like Belize, all of the little islands, right? And I come back to New Orleans, and I think about New Orleans. We we really face a lot of the same, you know what I'm saying, the same
Indoctrination.
indoctrinations. You
Right.
know what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
and it's unfortunate, but that's why is I just love talking to people from New York. Like when I went to New York, I was on. I was talking like I was talking.
Right.
I'm trying to find out about every fucking thing.
Right.
Like where you from? Who's the big rapper? Where you from?
Jay-Z.
All right, so Jay Z, where you from?
Yeah.
Like what Jay Z? Like how
He from
close?
Brooklyn.
Are
Same,
you
same. I'm from Brooklyn too, but I'm from a different part of Brooklyn than he's from. But we from Brooklyn.
Marcy, right?
Yeah, he
Marcy.
from Marcy. I'm from Coney Island. That's like the Ninth Ward is so big. The Ninth
Right.
Ward would be Brooklyn, but you know you got across the canal. You got, you know what I mean. So it's the same ordeal.
All right, all right, all right. So Jay Z. How do y'all view Jay Z? You know, like how you view Jay Z as a
I look up to Jay.
Right.
Like he came from them same buildings that I come from. You know what I mean? With the same amount of time in the day that I got, and did something that I still can't figure out.
because Lil Wayne is like our Jay Z.
Right.
And Lil Wayne is an artist that kind of looked up to Jay Z,
Right.
and he was kind of like on that Jay Z, you know what I'm saying, wave. So I don't know, bro. Like
But Jay, you know what? Jay figured it out. He had to take it back down south. When he married Beyonce, that wasn't just love. People go platinum in Texas without ever having to leave Texas. It's one of the biggest markets in the world. So why wouldn't you go marry a Texas princess?
right, right,
It was business.
right.
Maybe they fell in love later. That was all a bit, and it came right after Big Pimpin'. they saw the results of what that record did when he did the record with Eugene.
Artist.
Yeah, and that record went so major that they ended up giving it placement on the Nutty Professor. It went even more major after it did numbers on the Nutty Professor that he was like, yo, I gotta go find me a Houston bitch.
Right. So, do you consider yourself media?
Nah, I don't know what I consider myself yet, bro, to be honest. I really don't. I don't know what I do yet. I'm still figuring it out.
Because I feel like you're tipping into the media world. Because like once you start doing like the live content and then you got access to rappers and
Right.
you want like you kind of like falling into the media, and that's why I asked you that. Do you even like all like people like me, GDP?
Right.
How you view the local media market like that, like the New Orleans local media market?
I
Since
like
you don't consider yourself media yet.
Yeah, I like it. That's where I get a lot of my information from. I feel like it's definitely what I love about it. It is the most biased and unbiased shit I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Facts.
And you gotta be from here, I guess, to understand how that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the most biased and unbiased thing, which is dope though, because you get to pull your own truth from it. You know what I mean? Because there's so many opinions and everybody's so passionate and everybody's telling the truth.
Right.
That you got no choice but to figure it out yourself.
You be like, yeah, I see shit your way. But I kind of see shit her way. Like, you been there like, yeah, like 4 of you motherfuckers right like a motherfucker. You know?
Right.
Like 6 of you motherfuckers need to go get checked out. Cause like, y'all bitches totally insane.
Right, and y'all really insane because y'all got me thinking y'all all right. What is going on?
Dog, when I look at, you ever looked at a Key Carol live?
No.
See,
That's dude that was arguing with the puppet.
Yeah,
I did. I got the live. I got that live on my YouTube. That's the only
Though that kid, he kind of owned the females in the market right now. So I always look at people that's buzzing like that in our market, and I say, all right, where is that in the national market? Right. And when I see it's missing the national market, and I see it's working here, I say, all right, it's gonna be a matter of time before somebody take this to the national market. I think a Key Carol is somebody that if he end up locking in like with a person like you, you know that you know like you gonna end up falling into media management like sooner or later. Like just being from New Orleans and being a cameraman, you gonna be so intertwined into so many different artists' businesses, and they gonna come at you from so many different angles that it's only gonna make sense that you be like, look, all right, I gotta start to try to monetize something.
I'm working right now. I can't say no names because I didn't get permission, but I'm working with a Young Money artist right now. Well, we've been talking. I got to get to the studio still. I got to meet him in the studio so we could officially be working. But it's funny you say that because it's actually happening as we speak, and I didn't know what it was transitioning into until you kind of like put it together. But I think that's kind of how Gilly came into the game too. Like Gilly just kind of like accidentally landed in media because of all of the resources and everything like that. So I could see that happening.
I call that the hustler's promise. Like within life, we got fundamentals. I'm a chess player, right? I play chess. So lately, I've been playing against the computer on the hardest level, right? And they ain't been washing me. Right? They ain't been watching me, but there's a computer, so I expect it to fuck me up. So it's fucking me up, but it's fucking me up like I'm getting more and more time on that bitch. Like it ain't fucking me up like it used to.
I just love how New Orleans niggas say he losing. Like they ain't been washing me. You ain't gonna say you lost. That's some New Orleans shit.
Yeah, they ain't been like I lost, but that mean you know what that mean? That mean I lost, but I was expecting to lose. I was expecting to lose, but I lost in a way that I thought I was gonna lose worse than that. And then it was like, bitch, that bitch ain't washed me. You're like, bitch, I gave that bitch a fucking 1-2. So like, but I've been really like sticking to my fundamentals on some shit. It's the same with football. It's the same with everything else. Just stick to your fundamentals, and the shit gonna work out. you dealing with all this, like, why you keep bringing up Gilly? Like, what you, and then you say Gilly's son, like, you got a relationship with dude?
Yeah, I worked with Gilly. I worked with Gilly for a few years actually. Matter of fact, there's an article that just came out. I was showing him. Gilly was with me when the feds came and raided one of my events one time. It's on my Instagram. If you go on my Instagram, there's a video where Gilly he's telling me, he's like, yo, them police ain't gonna come in here fucking with me like they're fucking with us like they did last time. So I had an event. Like I said, I was involved in some street shit, and Gilly is my witness. Gilly, Fred, Jim Jones. There was a lot of witnesses in the building that day that could attest to this. Man, them police came in there looking for me, 11 deep in the club with SWAT gear, riot gear, all kinds of shit. Then there was 15 cops outside surrounding the club. Shout out to my man Illa J. Shout out to my man Illa J. Shout out to my man Illa J. He got locked up that day. They came looking for me afterwards. And, you know, Illa just did what he was supposed to do. Solid dude.
Right.
And then people had to leave me alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what it is. But they came and they tried to play with my money. But what they did was they didn't realize, the police thought they were going to shut my event down. Right?
Right.
Yo, they turned me up. The next show was sold out. They was like, yo, Hollywood's that dude. Feds came looking for him and they couldn't take his ass.
You was the NBA young boy.
I was him.
Promoter world.
I was him, yeah, I was him. So now next show we got Casanova, Jim Jones. We got the big dogs all coming out. Like, yeah, we ain't gonna get touched. We know what it is over here. Hollywood's good.
Dog, and that's why I kind of bring up you being here.
I
right?
can't make it up, man.
You gonna end up. How you feel about bounce music?
I like bounce music. I like bounce
you feel
music.
like you'll end up touching some of those artists?
Hell
some
yeah.
Of that market?
Hell yeah. Because I feel like bounce music could be a lot bigger than what it is. I feel like the bounce artists are not leveraging their markets because they don't know their full potential. They don't know like how many markets they could be hitting. There's so many more markets than this small New Orleans bounce market that is going to be susceptible to the music. Jersey has a bounce sound too.
Right.
And it's similar to
that dance hall and all that.
Right.
Like
Baltimore got something that's similar to the dance thing as well. And then in the UK, it's almost identical except for the lyrics to the bounce sound that they have here. And it's big in pop culture. So all it would take is for one New Orleans bounce artist to understand this, start hitting those demographics, tapping in with
Frida actually do good internationally. You know what I'm saying? And Big
Frida also got that Drake cosign too.
Yes.
This is watch what he about to say. I can't make it up. You gotta do one more thing for me, player.
Hey, them motherfuckers police ain't gonna run in here like last time.
You see what they did to me last time?
Yeah, nigga, damn. I wasn't up there. I seen them run up the steps. I was on my way up. I saw no Gordo up there. Nervous as a bitch.
You don't feel like the more you get involved with like a lot of these industry cats, that you gonna be like more watched by like federal people and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
more
so
like attack.
And that's cool. That's cool. They got a 98% conviction rate. Come to me, come with facts.
Right.
Take me. But don't take me for nothing petty.
You know, it puts you on the spotlight.
No, but I'm
just being around industry people.
Yo, I'm so cool with all. Listen, number one, I ain't doing nothing wrong. That's
Right.
number one. I ain't doing nothing wrong.
Right.
But hypothetically speaking, if I was doing anything wrong, I want to go out with a bang.
Right.
Like, come after me with 100 feds, shoot me in the face, all kinds of shit. Yeah, I mean it. Wallahi, I mean it. On God. Because my kids going to get... I see what's going on in the world. My kids going to eat. Right. I'm going to leave them specific instructions. Yo, daddy was a gangster
right.
and did XYZ. Exploit my story. In this safe are pictures and videos backing up everything that I'm saying is real.
Right.
Go tell him your daddy was that nigga and go make some money.
Right.
And if I go out like that, I'm cool. I mean it. Because my kids is eating. So I hope and pray that one day they shoot me in the face in front of 100 people.
When did you become a Muslim? And because you, I don't want to say that you're an extreme Muslim, but you extreme.
I'm an extreme
no.
I'm an
you
extreme
a Muslim
nigga.
and you extreme.
Yeah.
Because you from New York.
Yeah.
But when did you become a Muslim?
I picked up the faith of Islam when I was 13 years old. I was born and raised a Roman Catholic in my house. There's nobody Arabic in my family, none of that stuff. My wife is Arabic, my wife is Palestinian. That's how I know God works. But because what I asked for, I got. It could have been, she could have been something else. The first woman I spoke to ended up being everything that I wanted. That
Right.
shit ain't no coincidence. You
Right.
feel what I'm saying? And I'm not saying my religion is the right religion. I believe every religion is right. What I believe, before I get into what you just asked me, just so I can make something clear, I believe that God is so you be playing yourself to try to understand what you think God is. You playing yourself to try to understand and think you know what God is. You playing yourself. So I believe that nobody is wrong in how they worship God. God put that in front of you because that's your way of being able to connect with the Most High. Not
Right.
everybody's the same.
Right.
Me and you, we different sizes. I
Right.
can't expect you to wear my shirt and be comfortable all day.
Right.
So that if you can't wear my shirt and be comfortable all day, I can't expect you to speak to God the way I speak to God and be comfortable speaking to God the way same God.
Right.
You just speak to him different.
It's a tailor-made experience.
That's it, yeah.
Right.
Tailor-made experience,
Right.
exactly. God knows I'm his special retarded son. That's my nigga. Yeah, that's my man.
So all right. So
But the extremists, yeah. So I became, going back to that, I became a Muslim enthusiast at 13. Once I learned more about the religion, I took my Shahada on 11/11/11. So 2011 is when I converted fully into Islam.
and what does that mean?
That means that I bear witness to the miracles of the religion. Like I've seen things that really changed my life, and nobody could. Like I said, I wasn't influenced by this. Nobody in my family, my daddy, I don't even know my dad. My mom is a born again Christian. All my other Hispanic family, they all Catholics, because that's what most Puerto Ricans are, is Catholic. You feel what I'm saying? So through studying and seeking my truth, this thing made the most sense to me. And then I took an oath to it in 2011. And to all it means to be a Muslim and to take a Shahada is that I bear witness to the fact that there's only one architect of the universe. There's one designer of all of this. There are prophets. There are people that have been given a gift or a spark or a message from something greater than them, and they deliver this message to us. That's all that makes me a Muslim. And I don't eat pork. That's it. That's all.
Beef?
Huh?
Eat
Yeah, I
beef?
eat beef. Yeah. But even Catholics, well, I went to Catholic school when I was young. Catholics are not supposed to eat pork either. That's not just a Muslim thing.
Right.
In the Catholic Bible, it says that God casted the devil into the pigs. He
Right.
put the demons in the pigs, and you shouldn't eat the pigs because of that, and they just dirty ass animals.
I got a few points to make on that. All right. The first point I have to make. I heard Charleston
White?
speak on the and I'm a type of person, once I get a lot of knowledge on something and it taught me to it taught me to view things different.
Right.
He said that the beef caused more cancer than pork, and the beef take longer to digest in your stomach, right?
Right.
And all meat that you digest have to rot first before it even come out, before
Yeah.
your body could even digest it. Have to
Yeah.
rot in your stomach first, which makes all meat consumption.
Yeah,
kinda-
all meat is
You know what I'm
bad.
saying? So, all right. So that's one.
It's the pig thing though is a cleanliness thing. It
Yeah,
ain't even
right.
a matter of like how it processes. It's just a matter of like, Muslims take their shoes off.
But the beef call is more cancerous.
No, so that's what I'm saying. It's not a health thing. It's a cleanliness thing.
Cleanliness of the animal.
Yeah,
Alright.
cows don't eat shit. Pigs eat anything you put in front of them.
Right. I understand that part. All right. So the second side note I wanted to get with you on was you being a Muslim, right?
Right.
And you being a cameraman in hip hop, right? How do you battle morally the destructive nature of hip hop? And you kind of like a part of it,
Right.
and you're not only a part of it.
I'm an agitator.
Right. So as a Muslim, right? Is that a battle?
Absolutely. But we know that we living in the world of sin. You know what I mean? So like all I could do is try to balance out, my karma. So I'm not doing something with an evil intention. my intention is to put food on the table. So if I got to go through the belly of the beast to do so, you know, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. You feel what I'm saying? So I got to play in these trenches in order to eat. And I know God's going to forgive me because this is where he put me.
So is that the same morale of, let's say, a heroin dealer,
Nah.
a crack dealer?
Nah.
You gotta think about it, right?
No, it's definitely not.
But
I
how-
thought about it already. It's not.
But all right,
no
so,
way it could be.
All right, so look.
Maybe if it was another product, because
think about the product.
There's a dependency on heroin,
All right.
a chemical dependency.
But
on
it's,
heroin.
it's still a chemical dependency on the frequency of music. Like Puff Daddy just came out and was speaking about computers controlling the frequency and how music is God driven, and you can't, like computers could never control the frequency of music because an artist like a Rifle 9 or a B.O.G. Viney who come from the trenches of really nothing can go and just get on a microphone and elevate their voice and be somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So within that, you have destructive forces like us cameramen, the media people who drive. Even when once Tupac and Biggie situations ended in bloodshed, Source Magazine was getting harassed and stuff because how they pushed the media side of that situation.
I'm gonna tell you why right now though. This is why it can never be the same. I don't know for sure when I give you this music what your reaction is gonna be off of it. I don't know.
All right, so look.
But I do know that if I give you this heroin, I know for sure what this heroin is gonna do to you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. That shit gonna make you want to come back for another bag of fucking heroin.
But you don't know.
I know that for sure.
Hey,
no, my daddy was a heroin addict. Died with a needle in his arm. I'm telling you. I sold dope to my daddy. You're coming back for another bag.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. When you sell me heroin, you don't know what I'm doing with it.
No. I do when I know what you look like. Brother, we from this place. If you coming to me at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning, crack of dawn with that cup of coffee, and you got holes in your skin, and you take $1 short, I know what you're doing with that.
No, you know what that look.
I know what.
Look, this is all I'm saying.
Then if you buying a sleeve,
right.
I know what you're doing with that. If you come to me with jewelry and a lot of money, you ain't hitting it. But I know what you're doing with it.
So look. This is the thing.
We don't know how they're gonna digest the music.
We don't know. We know when we deal in destructive forces.
Right, absolutely.
Right? So we know once we
they both bad.
You might not.
The music is just the lesser evil.
You might not shoot heroin, right? You might not snort heroin, right? You might just sell it, right? If you a person who never snorted heroin, never did heroin, you can't with that same mouth say that you know what heroin do.
No, I can.
You can't.
I can.
You can't. That's just like a person who witnessed a rape. Say, oh yeah, I know what it is to be raped. You can't because you never shot heroin. And you never snorted heroin. You only sold it. So Jay-Z said...
I watched my dad die from that shit.
But not... Yeah, you watched, but you never did it.
No, I didn't do it. But I know that it was the heroin that killed them.
Yeah, but
so
you never did it. So this
right.
is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you're pumping out a destructive force, right? Let's say a music or an image or anything like that, right? If you pump that out, right? You... not the person that's digesting the image. You the person that's putting out the image. Right? So you can never say what the person that's digesting the image. You can't say they're that's the art of it. When you put out art, you can't say how the art should be judged.
No, I completely agree with that. I agree with that part.
So with music,
but
right?
I think selling heroin is worse than what I do.
But is it? Because think about how many artists that had everything, right? They had everything that threw it all on the line just behind of what the media responsibility. Vlad get a lot of slack for being a police because of his media responsibility. The kid from No Jumper, he get a lot of slack because of his media responsibility.
But I think those are just soft individuals. Those are just people that can't deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like they soft. They ain't got the skin for it because it doesn't affect everybody the same way. It really doesn't. Like Britney Spears went crazy and shaved her fucking head. Other women have gone through the shit that Britney has gone through and didn't go shave their head.
But
know
you
what
the
I'm saying?
same.
Like,
But you the same person who just told me that New York has drill music.
yeah.
How, my nigga?
Because they stole it from Chicago.
They didn't steal it. They didn't steal it. They adapted
mimicked
to it.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is, if
drill music.
If you're a Muslim, my G.
Yeah.
You Muslims,
Yeah.
right? So we have to be locked into the consciousness of reality,
Absolutely.
right? We watch music that BG made about fucking drilling and killing in New Orleans.
Right.
Hurricane Katrina hit. All these fucking Katrina baiters flood every major city in the United States. Chicago become a fucking drill city.
Right.
Philly adapt to a drill city. California, all these cities adapt to drill cities. New York, the mecca of fucking knowledge and rap and hip hop, got fucking Bloods and Crips and become a fucking drill city. And you can't, with the same mouth, tell me you can't see the destructive nature of hip hop that's probably even 10 times worse as heroin.
Oh no, I see the destructive nature of hip hop for sure. Like I won't be a hypocrite and say that there's not a destructive nature in hip hop, but not all music is sending the same message.
Right.
Not all music is sending the same message.
Right.
And not everybody is digesting the music the same. There's some people, I kid you not, and this is the truth. You ever listen to a song and then 5-6 years later you catch something that they said, you're like, yo, I never even knew they said that.
Right.
It's because you're not even listening.
Right.
So if you're not listening, how you digesting?
You gotta think about it though. Music is a generational music. Like it's almost like that's why Tupac said a lot of times. He said, "Through this music, I'm gonna live forever."
Right.
Right. Because Tupac, I know every verse of Tupac lines when I was 17 and 18. But the 40-year-old me, the 39-year-old me,
Right.
You hear me? I hear all those lyrics again and I hear them different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
know, like through the process of music and the sands of time, you start to just process music differently. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I asked you about just the moral side of it, because
But look, to get back to the moral side, I think selling music is the same as selling guns. I don't think you could compare selling music to selling heroin, but you could for sure compare it to selling weapons or guns or something like that.
I feel like it's more destructive than
It's more manipulative, but it's not more destructive. Like we physically, the moment you take because it's gonna take time for something to manifest from the music.
Yeah, but guess what? It's gonna look.
As soon as you hit that
remember
dope, you're gonna go throw up right
you remember
away.
Crack? You remember crack?
Yeah.
How many people you know right now in
I was
no,
born addicted
listen
to
to me. Listen to me. How many people you know, how many friends you got right now your age addicted to crack?
Probably about 2.
That
I
smoke
know.
crack.
Yeah, that smoke crack that I know.
All
for
right.
sure, smoke crack.
So you got 2 friends that smoke crack. You know how old a crack rock drug is? Like that's the motherfucking that's like a 40-year-old drug. That's like so you have more motherfuckers that's addicted to pills than crack, because when the motherfucker did get addicted to crack was the poppin' fucking shit.
The opiate crisis is horrible.
No, but what I'm saying is like drugs go up and down in popularity.
Absolutely.
So that's why people get on them, and then you just get hooked. Like Eminem was addicted to sleeping pills.
Every time there's a recession, we're gonna go into downers. We're gonna go into dopes and opiates, and every time we got a lot of money, we're gonna get back into the crack and the cocaine and the methamphetamines, and that's been the pattern of it since the beginning.
But what I'm saying is the drugs based off of popularity go up and down.
Right.
With the music, right? The music it drives what you about to do. So think about this, all right?
But not everybody though.
Think about this, bro. Just think about this.
I'm
As a Muslim, right?
Right. Because every
day when everybody wake up, right? They battle demons, right?
Right.
They battle what God wants you to do and what you want you to do, right? And your wants versus your needs, right? And you battle that shit every fucking day, right? And the only thing that made me feel good is the music. Right? No matter what I'm going through, my life could be shitty, my life could be good. The only thing made me feel good is the fucking music. Dog. I don't give a fuck what kind of drugs you go on. Like everybody that do listen
I
to
don't
me.
think that's the same
Listen
for
to me.
everybody.
The one common thing that everybody have. I don't give a fuck if you're on drugs, if you're on fucking whatever, is the fucking music. The music touch every fucking demographic.
No, it does, but I don't think it touches everybody the same.
No, it don't. So, but that's the dangerous nature of it, because how you direct it, everybody going digest it different. All right. But how you direct it means everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the R. Kelly situation is. Yeah, we love that fucking music. It was good music. But bitch, how you was directing it, now I'm thinking about 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds and shit. I'm like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm saying how you directing it. I think you was directing it to bad bitches like Tony Braskin and shit. I'm like, oh yeah, bitch. Yeah, 12 play. Bitch, I ain't trying to 12 play with no fucking 15-year-old. It's fucking nasty. So that's what I'm basically saying when you come to the morale and the direct nature that music changed a lifestyle. You could have a group of people who was planning on doing what God wanted them to do, right? Until they heard back that ass up. They're like, oh fuck,
yeah, that was
this
me.
Fucking funeral that it turned up to a fucking shakedown. Who died again? Fuck out of nigga, I'm so fucked up on this hidden side and forgot who died. I'm looking for this nigga. You there? I'm like, man, where so man, we had this nigga funeral. Nigga, I'm wasted. You there? So like music, especially in New Orleans, right? Like it controls people. So it's a lot. It's stronger than drugs because it lock you down to a time. You could be 60 years old and you hear a song that you heard when you was 15. You feel like you 15 again. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a stronger drug than actual drugs.
I can agree with you for people that don't know what I know. When you have knowledge of self and when you study certain things, it's really hard for those things to have that kind of effect on you. It really is.
Dog, crack dealers say the same exact thing, bro. Like crack dealers say, man, I sell crack to motherfuckers who work every fucking day. But you also sell crack to motherfuckers who destroying their family smoking fucking
absolutely.
crack.
But what I'm saying is,
you gotta rationalize both sides when you deal with music.
Absolutely.
I battle with those same things.
But is it my responsibility to give somebody tough skin?
No, it's your responsibility as a Muslim, right, to not produce destructive content.
We can agree to disagree.
But I feel like it. I feel like morally it should be. But I say that to all the Muslims, like even the Mike Tysons.
I get it. But when you start reading those hadiths and you start reading certain things for what they really are, it's not haram. It's not haram at all. And it's actually encouraged that we go through these jihads, because that's what it is. It's a spiritual battle within oneself, battling your own demons, your own jinnas, right? So it's actually encouraged that we face these battles head on. And whoever don't survive, the shit wasn't for them.
I think we kind of fall into the transgression and sins, because you gotta think about it. I'm not a Muslim, right? But morally, I battle with a lot of the content. I even the content that I put out in general, right? I battle a lot. That's why I deal with a lot of kids, because I just try to get tapped into what the next generation gonna think like, you know. And I don't know, bro. Because I see artists that pop, and I see like you was talking about the artists with the guns and all this shit, right? And as a parent now, right? Because now I didn't grew up on hip hop. I grew up from hip hop. I was born in '82. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up with hip hop. So now I'm a parent, and I seen the destructive nature of hip hop.
I wouldn't let my kids watch none of the shit that I produce.
But my kid is. So, all right. So you got a rifle 9, right? My kid gonna watch that. You know what I'm saying? So if they have guns or whatever they have in that video, they gonna watch that, which is, you know what I'm saying? That's just the nature of the business. But I just always think.
But then we gotta get into the uncomfortable conversations. That's why I don't even like touching shit at all sometimes, because who's giving the child permission to watch it?
The word, because think about it, bro. I feel. Think about it. If you have, especially growing up now, right? I grew up in the '90s where the only way you was gonna see porn, bro, if you found it under your dad mattress, if you had a dad, right? Or your big brother, if you got a big brother. If you grew up in a house full of girls, you probably wasn't gonna get no porn. Or if you turn that bitch to the fucking station, you could hear the porn, you could make out a titty or a nipple or some shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't gonna really get the full fucking Nelson. Now, like you just Google the type of bitch you want to see, and it's just pulling up on your fucking iPad.
I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of that shit don't mean nothing to me either. I got 8 kids. No cap. Real talk. My oldest daughter just got married. My oldest daughter didn't know who Rob 49 was till I told her. 18 years old. She's supposed to know. She's supposed to know who Rob 49 is.
Where's she from?
She's from Pennsylvania.
That's why, though.
No. What you mean? Her daddy from down south. Her daddy here.
Yeah, but she from Pennsylvania.
Here. She don't even know who the Pennsylvania rappers are.
But who her friends knew?
That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. Like what your daddy like ain't never the cool thing.
No, it's not her friends. Her friends are into what I'm into. Her friends be telling her all the time, yo, your dad was just with Fetty Wap. Your dad was with this one. The mama only played, I didn't raise those kids. The mom only played Spanish music in that house.
So that's what she into.
The mom the mom refused to let my daughter listen to any of the artists that I work with. Any of them. My daughter went to school. She didn't have the desire to know any of these people. She didn't go behind her mom's back. Yo, friend, tell me who Fetty Wap is. My daddy just... So I don't agree with a lot of that shit. Think about
depending
what you
on hold on.
The parent, listen, when you build trust between a child, when your child looks at you like a superhero, when your child really thinks that you are that superhero, bro, there's nothing that anybody in the world could do to convince that kid to do anything different. But they gotta believe that you Superman. And that's the real problem in America. Daddy's not in the home.
And I'm a totally disagree with you at this point. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this: the reason why your child really grasps on to that type of music is because, first of all, the mother provided the lifestyle that's like that music. People like music is a lifestyle. That's the reason why you just can't take New Orleans bounce music. Listen to me, bro. That's the reason why you just can't take.
My baby mom's not a regular Spanish chick, though. She a project chick. She listened to what I listen to. She just didn't want the children to grow up.
The environment that she provided for her child was like that. So the music fit the environment. The environment is what makes the child comfortable.
So then create the environment.
Exactly. But everybody don't have that strength to create the environment.
But
music is very, very powerful.
You said the key word, the strength. I agree with you. This shit not for the weak, and I don't feel bad for the weak.
But look at the music. Look at the music that she put out. All right. Look at the music that she listening to. That music is not a destructive music. I can't pull up one of them fucking Spanish songs where they talking about killing their wife, killing some other Spanish.
No, you bugging. I could play a bunch of those for you. Stop. Don't do that.
That might be some blues shit that they
No.
Up.
And it's been going on since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time. I could play a bunch of them for you. You just don't know the language. But I could play that for you.
That's
some crazy shit.
That's a pass off. All right. The environment for that is not that. You did like the environment is totally different for that music.
Because a human being chose to create a conducive environment for another human being. And it has nothing to do with anything else.
Just being a Muslim, you can't say fuck the weak. Because you gotta think about it.
No, yeah, I can.
You can't.
I can. And I did. And I say it again, fuck the weak.
Why?
Because there's only one person that will tell me if I'm wrong for that, and that's Allah.
That's not true.
On the day of judgment, I'm gonna.
That's not true. Because you have to say this. All right. The number one key thing,
brother. You know why I say fuck the weak? Because I was weak at one point, and that shit didn't do nothing but almost get me killed.
It made you strong,
bro. No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
It almost got me killed.
It made you strong.
But and you know what? Fuck the weak.
It made you strong.
Yeah, and it made me say fuck the weak.
So you can't,
being weak made me say fuck the weak.
Right. I can understand that premise.
No, brother. I almost died behind white people trying to kill me.
Right.
Fuck the weak.
Right.
If I wasn't willing to bite their head off, I'd have died. Fuck the weak. If you're not willing to fight for what you love or fight for yourself, then you don't even, if you're not willing to die and fight for yourself, your children, and what's important, then fuck you. You're weak. Fuck you. I don't need you here.
Right.
Because this world is going to head into an ugly place where we got to be ready for some real shit.
Right.
So if you're going to hold me back and you're the reason why I'm going to die because you're weak, fuck you. Get rid of you now. You're a waste of air.
Right.
Go die. If you know you're weak, do me a favor, go die.
Right.
Because you don't deserve to be here. We fighting. People fighting for their lives. People really on the front lines.
Right.
And we're going to give people an option to be weak? Yeah, they can eat my dick.
That's some New York shit.
They can eat my dick.
The New York extremists. Yeah, these
We giving people the option to be wild. That's crazy. They eating us alive. And we telling people, oh, calm down, little Timmy. It's okay to be weak.
But you know, that's a
No,
South thing.
fuck
Like,
you.
like, I'm going to tell you. Because it's really like a South thing to be like that laid back shit. And it's kind of like, we accept a lot of
The
shit.
world is
from-
spinning. The South is about to be in the North soon. Listen, catch up with the times, baby. The world is...
But look, I'm gonna tell you, you know why the South never changed?
Why?
Real shit. The reason why the South never changed is because the world, I don't give a fuck how many emails you got, right? You could have emails, you could have fucking hard drives, you could have all that shit. Guess what? If you ain't write it in stone,
Yeah.
my nigga, you
don't
can't write
matter.
it in stone.
Yeah.
It don't exist.
Right.
It won't exist. Simple as that. So the primitive shit will never. You ever been in a hurricane and been looking for the
I was here
DVD
for the
player
yeah.
that you forgot in 2003?
Yeah.
Like fuck, we don't have a DVD player,
Yo,
nigga.
that-
Like we
yo,
don't have CDs.
that's so crazy.
nigga. Like we don't.
Man.
Like we don't. Like fuck.
I just told my manager, I just told one of my managers yesterday, I kid you not, he gonna leave a comment on this. I just finished telling one of my managers yesterday, yo, we about to go back to that era. We about to go back to that era, watch.
We
The
got
D-
to.
We have
because
to.
dog, what happened with the baby and all that shit was battling with computers, and that's why I talk about the shit, just the moral justice of it. Because sometimes morally we sell out to computers,
Right.
Right. So like we might pull out the Dracos and shit
No,
because
you
we
right.
know like that's what's gonna get the fucking the
Stick
fame.
on the baby.
But
I want to talk about that for a minute. I want to talk about so peep game. You said the baby situation,
right. The computer battle.
Now check this out. The baby would not be in that hole if weak motherfuckers did not exist. Period.
Well, you gotta think
Drops
about it.
mic, walks away.
You gotta think about it, dude.
You niggas is weak.
Like who you think is weak?
Whoever can't take whatever little baby did, they weak.
Right.
Whoever or whatever.
But think about this though, bro. And this just all right. Who is your biggest supporter?
My biggest supporter.
Like
Right now,
demographic.
right now, my wife.
Demographic. No,
Oh.
talking about business demographic wise. Who is your biggest supporter?
African Americans.
All right. So if you just like publicly bash like just on some really like bashing African Americans or bashing black women in general for some
Right.
shit like just some hurtful shit you
Right.
said, right? You don't feel like if a person that's have their finger on the computer button that been pressing your shit to make you go fucking crazy this whole time was a black woman, right?
Right.
And you say some derogatory shit about her, you dig? And something that's hurtful to her that she don't have the right to fucking unpress the same button that she been pressing
She
for you
internalized
the same time.
it. She internalized it. Why did you internalize that?
Because
What
you my dude.
No.
All right. Like, let's reframe it. I held my finger on the button, right?
Right.
And I'm making Hollywood Pompeii go fucking crazy, right?
But
and
now that's a personal
hold on,
situation.
time out.
though.
Hold on, time
These
out.
are people that don't have any personal relationships.
No, but
with
you
him.
don't know if they do. So hold on, time out.
No, I know 1,000 of them that don't. They're on Twitter and Instagram.
If I'm making you go crazy,
right.
that means I'm putting money in your pocket.
Right.
That means
I have a right. No, you have a right to feel some type of way
right.
in that situation.
Right, and not only that,
Absolutely.
not only that, that money builds the personal relationship. The more money I put in your pocket, the closer you're gonna get to me just naturally because I'm the one that's putting money in your pocket.
The people who have never met this man nor shook his hand, and they're crying behind a computer behind some shit he said, go play in traffic.
Right. But the person with their finger on the button.
No,
I
that's
just feel like
different.
you
No.
gotta-
That you 100% right about that. That person has a right to feel any type
Right.
of way.
I think that was his situation.
No, he got bashed at for saying some shit about a certain community.
Yeah, the gay community.
Right.
But who's to say that the person who been making you go crazy, not a gay person? You don't know who gay.
Yeah, but that's only one. 1,000 people that don't know this person has something to say. Mind your business.
Because the people who
'Cause
with
they
their
weak.
finger, but the people with their finger on the button
Started crying to all them other motherfuckers.
No, they control the media. Media really drive. That's just like GDP, right?
Right.
GDP a big reason why my podcast really just took off online, because I really don't have a lot of time to do promo, and KP do so much that he don't really have a lot of time to do just like promo for a lot of things. And GDP will take a clip and clip it and put this and put a little title, and he frame it. Now, if GDP was like on some vicious, manipulative shit, he could take a lot of shit off my podcast,
right, go crazy,
flip
with
it and make it even go crazier because the crazy shit that we do see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he respect my brand, and
Absolutely.
he just helping me out by pushing my brand. So he'll take some clips and make some shit. Or he even take an old clip and just repost it, just to try to keep me, you know what I'm saying, relevant on some shit, because he know I don't have the time to do it, just on some bro shit. But that's why I know that, like, how you frame media, you know, like, that shit just matter, dog. Like,
so what I try to do whenever I deal with media is which is why a lot of my documentaries and stuff are so long, I be raw and uncut. So I don't ever try to give it an angle. I want you to feel how you feel about what you see. I just want you to know that I'm the one that gave it to you.
Right.
But so I'll never take an angle like,
just take it as an art.
Yeah, this is what it is. I might not even throw no music on it because I don't want to manipulate you to feel a certain type of way. You get what I'm saying? So I let them do what they do with it.
I think there's a lot, though. Like, I think our responsibility as media, even if we don't perceive ourselves as media, right?
Right.
When we putting things out in the open, it's basically media. So I think and I'm happy that you in our atmosphere now. Like, you in the New Orleans area, and you working with artists and plugging people in and making these relationships. Because
I actually got an artist from New Orleans signed to Casanova right before he went to the feds. I took an artist from the 9th Ward because I love this city, man. I love the city. I love the culture. I love everything about it. And I took the kid from the 9th Ward, brought him all the way up to Rock Nation to Casanova. And if this shit didn't happen with Casanova going to the feds, this kid was out of here. Like, out of here.
Say, I really thought you was just light skinned. I really didn't think you. I thought you was black. I ain't wear this Selena shirt. He told me I had to bring 2 shirts. This was the one they had at Walmart. It was Selena. I got that bitch. It was just a fucking cool.
I really don't know what I am. I got to do the ancestry shit. I just know I'm from the projects.
That's funny, dog. That's some American shit, and that's some New York shit. You go to New York. That's just and. I'm just happy you here, bro, because New Orleans is a place that will really embrace you. Like, in the public eye, we look like we bunch of killers and shit like that, but we really are loving people. That's why we created. That's why I can speak on the destructive nature of hip hop, because the real destructive nature of hip hop started here. And
this is the murder capital,
and it was sent to the world. We were marketed as a murder capital. When in reality we was just a bunch of families that was feuding. You know what I'm saying? And once you market the fact that we families feuding, you are gonna have more families feuding.
Absolutely.
So, like, me as a person who posts the news, right? Sometimes I get inboxes saying, "Yo, look, bro, I know this your page and all. You think you could just take this article down because it's just bringing too much hurt to my family that had to see people just still talking about it on your platform." You know what I'm saying? So, fucking right, I'm gonna take it down for you. I don't give a fuck how many views or what attention is getting is gonna come down. Sometimes I get threats. Sometimes I get, "Yo, motherfucker, you better take this down." They ain't gonna get no play with me. They're like, I'm not boy, you better
Yeah.
come again.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta come on some sympathy shit. I'm gonna take this shit down because I understand you actually dealing with this.
Right.
This is a post in my phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing for me to take it down if it's causing you pain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
I had a little rapper hit me up like that. I won't say his name because I don't want to give him no light. But when I see him, he from out here. I ain't gonna say what ward he from either because I got people that are from that ward and I don't want them to think it's up. But when I catch his little ass, I'm gonna punch him right in the fucking mouth.
A rapper?
A little rapper from New Orleans. I'm gonna whoop his ass.
What the situation?
I'm gonna beat his.
Why?
I'm gonna beat his short little ass. I'm gonna whoop him. When I catch you, I'm gonna whoop you. And I told you what's up. When I catch you, I'm gonna whoop you.
What kind of situation that was? Can you speak on it?
I can speak on it. So nobody in the city like him anyway. So that's why I haven't punched him in the face yet because I don't want to. You don't get cool points for somebody that everybody don't like. You know what I mean? Like.
Right.
So, but I'm out with my wife. We eating. I'm a producer. I'm not the actual one doing the interviews and shit. So I put up the bag. I had a podcast called Chop Dope.
Right.
That I was producing.
Wait, I didn't know that was you.
Yeah, so I was the producer of the podcast. I was just putting up the bag and producing the podcast.
Right.
Long story short, we did we spoke about some very controversial things.
Oh, is that one camera rolling? All right.
We spoke about some very controversial things on some of these podcasts with my man Chapo. So one of those things was about a rapper that was being victimized. He was a victim. This rapper was a victim.
Right.
He was a real victim.
Right. Right.
And they were talking about how he was victimized.
Wow.
And he ain't like it. Brother, the people that victimized you are still walking around. The people who put me on to the fact that you were victimized are still walking around. Right. The people who did the interview and were laughing at you are still walking around.
Right.
You think because I'm not from here and I don't have no ties to here that you gonna slide in my DM on some. I said, brother, my address is on Google. Look it up. Google Hollywood Pompeii. Put it in your GPS. It's gonna take you straight to my house.
Right.
I ain't lying. You put Hollywood Pompeii in a GPS, gonna take you straight to where I live. I'm not a hard person to find, brother.
Right.
So I told him, bro, we can stop with all of this. Pull up. I'm gonna take the video down. Because I don't want to deal with legal issues because the person had an attorney reach out to me too. Right. You a gangster. Why am I talking to your lawyer and not your gun?
Right.
You a gangster.
Right.
Be one or the other. If you gonna be a businessman, that's cool. I don't mind talking to the lawyer.
Right.
But you telling all these people that you flip shit, you do this, you do that. Brother, I'm still here, light skinned and pretty.
Right.
You did nothing. But
I didn't know you was in that. I didn't know that was you behind the Chop Dope.
That was me.
Situation.
I wasn't behind any of the stories. My man is Chapo. That's my barber.
Right.
He said, "Yo, bro, I wanna do a podcast." I bet. I got a couple resources. You my man. I got a couple resources. I got a little bit of bread. We gonna put it together.
Right.
What's up? Let's do it. You can do whatever you want. I'ma support you.
Right.
You my man.
Right.
You wanna sit up here and make fun of people? That's what you wanna do.
Right.
But why are y'all checking a dude that's not even on the camera?
Right.
You had, and I watched this dude. He got his pics. I watched some gorillas come at him.
But y'all, I ain't gonna lie. On that podcast, y'all was playing with a lot of. That make a lot of sense that because at some time they did a lot. They did a lot, which make a lot of sense because you from New York here, so you probably been behind some of the movies.
No, I wasn't behind none of it. You can hear my voice.
You was just a cameraman.
I wasn't even the cameraman. I had cameramen. They just used my place.
All right.
They used my establishment.
Yeah, because they got spicy up in there.
They used my establishment and they used my equipment.
Type of spicy shit that I'm like, oh, yo, that's spicy. All right. That shit gonna burn y'all fucking mouth. It did, but they just kept going and going and going and going and going and going. And, shout out to Chapo.
The only reason why we had to put a pause on it, season 2's coming.
All right.
The only reason why we had to put a pause on it is because one of my brothers, who was the cameraman, ended up having to relocate to Las Vegas last minute. He had a family emergency. That's all it was. So the two producers that we had on camera and editor,
Right.
because we had 3 cameras rolling, and I'm running around all over the country. I can't sit and edit or whatever the case is. So I had
Right.
2 people that were strictly producing that for me, but they had to relocate because some stuff had happened.
Right. So
But
the team just got to get back together
that's
for
it.
Chop Dope.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Man,
Season
look,
2
bro.
coming.
Look, bro. I look. It was amazing talking to you, bro. Cause and we got to really lock in on the business side. You dig?
Absolutely.
I just feel like the hustler in me, you dig, and the New York in you. You're like
I learned a lot from you today too, man. I
Really?
really appreciate you giving me a lot of insight on just like perspective
Right.
from somebody who's really from here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like real perspective on real core situations, because now that's gonna caution me on how to move a little different. You know what I mean?
Right. And I always did like northern people, especially like Philly, New York, all because they always have this, even California.
Yeah.
Like they always have this fucking like adrenaline energy
Right.
that we more laid back and but it's more like a balance that we need. We need
Right.
we need each other because you got to learn how to not to do too much, and I had to learn how to like fucking like when it's time to go, bitch, it's
go.
go time, bitch. You
Right.
got to live in the moment. Put
Right.
your fucking phone down, like Deion Sanders said. Put your fucking phone down and live in the moment.
I want to bring up one controversial topic before we wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like to start this mess all the time. I'm a messy dude.
Right.
People say that New York is the birthplace of hip hop, the mecca of hip hop, right? The mecca of hip hop, not music. We know the mecca of music is here.
Right.
Do you think that that's accurate?
I feel like New Orleans is like me. I'm really a person that's
Why do you say New Orleans though? Because you know what makes hip hop is 4 elements. It's the graffiti, the DJing, breakdancing, and MCing. Those are the 4 elements of hip hop.
reason why I say New Orleans basically is because when you think about what jazz is, right?
Right.
And we created jazz. That's
Right.
on record, right?
Right.
We created the jazz market, which was the Chitlin circuit,
Right.
right? From here to St. Louis,
Right.
you know, all of the small markets where you can see all the fucking top major artists right there on uptown on, you know, at any ballroom,
Right.
right? So by us developing that, and when you look at what bounce music basically is, right? And bounce music is a call and response. It's still the DJ. It's
Right,
still
right.
hip hop. It's
Right.
still what hip hop it was from the elements of
Right.
it. And we've been doing that since forever.
Right.
From the fucking beatbox shit on the fucking milk crate or however the fuck you making your beats, right? Because
So I agree with you. If indeed bounce music was
bounce
a-
music ain't nothing but Indian chants.
Yeah. So I could, if I'm gonna do a little bit of research. So I believe in my heart and soul, and I get into beef with everybody. That's why I got this tattoo right there. I believe hip hop started in Philly. I'm a Brooklyner. I'm from New York.
Right.
They hate me. New Yorkers hate me because I believe that hip hop started in Philly, and the reason why I say that is because they say 4 elements created hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So if music is only one of those elements, if hip hop music is only one of those elements, and that didn't get commercialized till later on, then it's safe to say that whatever the first element was to be identified in a commercial market is where the seed would have been planted for hip hop. So that seed is in 1967, there was a graffiti writer named Cornbread.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to jail and came out all over the newspapers for graffiti. This was the first time that graffiti ever came out in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
So if graffiti is an element and it was the first thing to ever get put on Front Street as a form of hip hop, right? And it came out in the newspapers and this and that, and it's one of the core elements that we still accept to this day as a part of hip hop, then I feel like hip hop was born. Hip hop music was born in the Bronx, but hip hop, I feel, came from Philadelphia,
But think about this though.
the city of brotherly love.
And I feel like this might wrap a lot of that up. When you talk about what graffiti is really a rebellious
Yeah, I love
painting,
graffiti. Yeah,
right?
I'm in that culture heavy. Have been for years.
We developed that culture. Like when you talk about what the Italian mafia,
Right,
the
right.
Italian wasn't the only people who had a mafia.
Right.
blacks also have family mafias that still exist and still run funeral homes and different elements of the city, the courthouse and everything else. These black mafia families started from these different projects and different in the oldest black neighborhood in America. That sit right in the Seven Waters. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like you see a lot of the seeds of these elements, right? Created here, because you gotta think about it. Here, before gangs,
New Orleans is like pop,
right? Like before gangs, but before gangs, we didn't have. We had projects. The projects was families. When families beef, families have always beefed in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So if I go write 6 water on your window, like a lot of that shit like started. In these fucking elements, though, like
I think the biggest beef I seen out here between the wards, the scariest beef I seen, and I don't want to amp it up, but the craziest shit I seen was that beef between the 8 and the 9. That shit was the scariest shit I ever seen in my life. But look,
I'm gonna tell you this: in New Orleans, we don't really have I'm gonna tell you, like media wise, we might say, all right, this ward, that ward. I never knew at a time in history where one complete war was beefing with another war.
Yeah, I don't get
that. It never happens. You might have 2 wars beefing within an element. You might have 2 wars beefing at the basketball game. Like they might beef at this school, but once we not at that school, that shit don't exist. So you might have elements of people from the Magnolia and elements of people from the Callio who don't like each other. Right? That don't mean the Magnolia and the Callio beef, and like that don't mean that. But it might be some word of caution of people shooting around certain areas.
And I guess I know y'all gotta go, but that just to get back to what we were talking about with like the culture. That's something to really talk about as well, and I guess we could talk about it another time. How Master P and Birdman literally grew up practically right down the street from each other, 2 of the biggest moguls in the industry from New Orleans, never not once worked with each other. The city sees that. People see that.
It's blood, bro.
Right, so that sets the tone for, but people that don't know the personal story behind it, just the kids coming up, they see that and they're like, oh, you're not supposed to fuck with another big dog in your city. Or you're not supposed to get money with niggas that's getting money. Or you're not supposed to be friendly with them niggas up the block.
But yeah, think about it. It all draw back to fundamentals, dog. Like if we don't nurture our relationships, and that's why I say the media that we put out
I understand what you're
is
saying.
dangerous, because if we not putting out the fact that we should nurture these relationships, the relationship is worth more than the money. You know what I'm saying? So you can see
I just don't want
motherfuckers got $1 billion.
I just don't want to think about that before I get this check, man. I got a big check coming in.
Right. You making me think about trying to hit you with the moral police.
Like damn, I'm about to get this. I got a big check coming from Netflix and shit. I'm like, oh man, about to go make salad.
Look, you got Master P who touched millions. You got Baby who touched millions and even billions, right? And because the relationship is so flawed, they can't never turn that into a fucking empire that's supposed to be. And it's all our fault. It's really all our fault, because we still doing the same shit. Like we ripping apart all these relationships in such a small city. Like my little podcast might touch maybe 150 on a good day, 250, right? Out of those 250, I get complaints. I get calls. This shit ruining my life. Oh, this shit making my day. This shit is only 200 people, but we only got 400,000 people in the whole city. And so 200 out of the people that's black, which is probably 86% of the city, you think 200 is a lot of people, because 200 gonna see it. 400 gonna talk about it, and that number gonna multiply within that little bit of community, might ruin somebody's fucking life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like the computers don't really matter. Your real impact in the community, you've been seeing with the like the computer can't make that happen. The computer can't notice me, the nigga with the cameraman, nigga with the fucking pump. Oh yeah, that's dude. Like computer can't do that for me. You know what I'm saying? So like I just feel like we just need to nurture more of those relationships and just keep them going. Even with your Netflix or whoever else you doing business with, just know that you know, like even those companies eventually the people they get in bed with, they ask them just to clean it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They do that because it is bad for business. So why they letting us start business like that? Why you gotta get seen like that?
Right.
Which you gotta destroy like half your community are putting out destructive content just to get seen for them to tell you gotta clean it up.
Right.
And you can't curse and now you
Right.
gotta like
It's a vicious cycle.
you know what I'm saying? Like that shit is so that's why I say it's more destructive than drugs, because drugs might hit you for a generation.
Right.
Music gonna hit you for a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this episode 19, we on 20?
Yeah.
God damn, I always get the episodes wrong. This episode 20. You hear me? We here at Music Box Studio, this Benjiman's Room podcast with Hollywood Pompeii. You heard any
Appreciate y'all
last
for having
words,
me.
bro, before we head out?
Shout out everybody, man. Shout out the gang. Shout out everybody. And Mama, I made it.
Facts. Facts. I appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate y'all,
I
man.
appreciate that.